In November of 2011, Latoya Ammons moved her family into a small, unassuming rental house on Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana. As far as Latoya knew, the home, which was a white, one-story, simple home with a screened-in front porch, was just another normal house. Nothing seemed off or strange until a few days after they moved in. It wasn't long until Latoya started to regret the decision to move her family into the home. One of the first things they noticed was flies flying all over the front porch. That in itself isn't anything spooky or abnormal, until you consider the time of year it was. It was smack in the middle of a freezing cold Indiana winter. Anyone who has lived in the north knows just how strange that would be. No matter how many flies they would kill, they just kept coming back. That was just the beginning though. Just a few days after moving in, they also began to hear loud footsteps throughout the house, and often late at night. They would hear the clump of footsteps slowly rise from the basement to the top of the stairs that led into the kitchen, and the door would open, and when the terrified family would look, no one would be there. Latoya thought that by locking basement door, that it would solve her problems. She underestimated the power of the demons that lived on Carolina Street. Even with the door to the basement locked, she claimed that they would often hear things being thrown around down in the basement. They still heard someone lumbering around, but even stranger, after falling asleep on the couch, she claims that she was awakened and saw black, shadowy figures walking throughout the home. Demons were coming and going in and out of her home, and they weren't even paying rent. During a slumber party with a friend, Ammons' young daughter was seen floating above her bed. She didn't come down until after her frightened family surrounded her bed to pray. She never woke up during the incident. When she woke the next morning, she was unaware that it had happened at all. Her family and her friend, however, were horrified. Latoya also claims that it wasn't long after that she was awoken to being choked by an unseen entity. They probably thought at that moment in time that things couldn't get any worse, but if they had, they would be wrong in that assessment. It wasn't long before her children started missing school, and when they did show up, they would have unexplainable injuries that caught the eye of someone who had turned it into Child Family Services, who also contacted the police. It wasn't long before they decided to pay Latoya a visit. When they began to question the mother of three, the excuse of demons that it wasn't probably what they were expecting to hear. Latoya explained to them that demons were causing her children to become ill, therefore that was the reason why they weren't in school. As far as the injuries, she also claimed that demons were possessing the children, which in turn was causing them harm. Investigators were not convinced. They agreed to come back in a determined time to reevaluate the situation and to see if any progress was made. They were absolutely stunned and shocked at what they witnessed. As they entered the home, they noticed a clear, oily substance dripping down the window shades, but the strange part is that there seemed to be no source. It appeared to be coming from nowhere. Child services workers and local police were stunned to see the young boys acting very strange. It was almost as if they were in a trance, one of them said. One of the boys, who was 9, started acting very strange. His eyes rolled back in his head and he started to talk in a strange demonic voice. It was then that things would take an even stranger turn over events. The boy started walking backwards up the wall and landed on his feet. Another child started to try to strangle another one while in a trance-like state, while talking about killing his brother in a strange, demonic voice, but when he came to, he had no memory of it. It was a very bizarre, spooky things for them to witness. Latoya claimed that each member of the family would become possessed at times. At first, Child Protective Services as well as local police were all convinced that Latoya Ammons was a bad parent. Someone who abused her children and put them up to trying to trick the authorities. Now, they weren't so sure anymore. They didn't know what to think. The statements of authorities were enough to clear Latoya of any wrongdoing, as well as being enough to bring in the help of the Catholic Church. They They were convinced that all of the members of the Ammons family were possessed by not one, but many evil spirits and demons. It wasn't long before an exorcism was being done by a Father Michael Maginot. It didn't work the first or second, or even third time. By the fourth time, the demons had either been evicted by the priest, telling them they were no longer welcome there, or they found a new house to haunt. Father Maginot used the crucifix on the right, to see if demons were present in Latoya Ammons. When he placed the crucifix on her forehead, she started to convulse. When the demons let their presence known, he gave her the Benedictine crucifix on the left, and somehow the Christ figure disappeared. Either way, after all that, the problems with demons seemed to be over. The Ammons family wasn't about to take any chances though. They moved and claims that their demon issues are over. The house had already been all over the news and local papers, so when the Ammons family finally decided to leave the home, it wasn't long before curious vandals and souvenir hunters started breaking in and tearing up what was left of the home. The star of the TV show, Ghost Adventures, Baggins ended up buying the home, only to have it torn down shortly after. What will become of the lot where the house sat, is anyone's guess. After the home was torn down, Zach claimed that he had investigated the home and that there was too much demonic activity there for anyone to try to control. He had seen a lot as a ghost hunter, but this place terrified him. What do you think? Was it a haunted portal to hell, or was Latoya Ammons simply trying to sell her story? It's been recently confirmed that there will indeed be a new Netflix movie simply titled Demon House, based on the events that happened to the Ammons family. Whether you believe in ghosts or demons or not, it should be a good movie from what I've heard so far. I for one am looking forward to seeing it. We'd love to hear your comments below. Thank you a million times over for watching. We appreciate it. If you know of a strange or creepy story for us to cover, we'd love to hear about it in the comments section below. All our social media links are there as well. Till next time!